Nano Nakajima is a transfer student at an elite academy on a solitary island that is made exclusively to groom and train teenagers with talents for the benefit of humanity. Nakajima is different from the others since he supposedly has no innate talent, leading him to get bullied by the other students. Nakajima is feeling like he is not really fitting into this new environment when the class witnesses the enrollment of two new students, Kyoya Onodera and Nana Hiragi. Kyoya seems like an arrogant kid with a lot of power to back the arrogance up, while Nana is a sweet little girl who supposedly has the ability to read minds. Nana gets along with the whole class exceptionally fast, and after a little voting is held for the class rep, Nana gets along with Nakajima as well, revealing how her mind-reading powers actually work. A little backstory shows how Nakajima was not raised in a usual family environment and how he got made fun of when he initially enrolled for his desire of becoming a leader at the academy. The conversation between the two continues, and after a few turns of events, Nakajima gets a little upset at Nana in the evening. The matter sorts out, and the next day brings the arrival of a duel for the class rep. Things go wrong when one of the students shoots a fireball at Nana by mistake, and Nakajima shows his actual ability to nullify talents, leading him to become the class rep after all. Nana and Nakajima are at a cliff, where Nana asks Nakajima to test his powers on her, when a plot twist shakes everything up. Nana throws Nakajima off the cliff, and reveals that she is a talentless human who was guessing things off of her intellect, and remarks that her purpose for arriving at the school is to save humanity from people with power. I personally wasn't expecting this at all. A memory explains the situation of the world and how previously talented people who were supposed to protect humanity turned against them, causing devastation before the talentless took the control back. A government committee had arranged islands like the one Nana's on to manage the talented, and had sent Nana here to kill everyone, as they will become the enemies of humanity if left alone in the future. Nana is continuing her observation further, as her classmates are concerned about Nakajima's disappearance. Nana witnesses the ability of Seiya as he freezes a whole lake at once, and decides to gather more intel about his ability. Her attention is diverted by a fight in class where Shibusawa uses a time-related talent, making Nana interesting in taking care of him first. Nana is in the dining room with Shibusawa and figures out his ability to go back in time to a certain extent, impressing him. Her plan gets interrupted when Kyoya pulls up on them, investigating Nakajima being missing, while clearly being suspicious of Nana. Nana decides to stay low to avoid Kyoya's suspicion, and helps out Shibusawa while he uses his ability to track Nakajima's movements in the past. She risks being caught while figuring out the limit of Shibusawa's ability, and sometime later initiates her plan of eliminating him by claiming that Nakajima was torn to pieces at the lake from above. She succeeds in making Shibusawa teleport back in time inside the lake when it was still frozen yesterday, and manages to eliminate him without leaving any traces. At night, Kyoya is interrogating the matter at the same cliff from earlier, and the next day, while Nana is having a conversation with some classmates on a rainy day, Kyoya arrives in class completely wet and flexing his intellect, making Nana wary of his abilities. Nana follows Kyoya to a janitor's shed later, and concludes that Kyoya isn't as harsh as he looks. Sometime later, Nana is surprised when Kyoya suddenly requests her of becoming his friend, inviting her to his room to play some games. Nana follows along to find out more about Kyoya's unclear personality from his room, but is a little dumbfounded finding the place to be a total mess. Kyoya plays some games with Nana and reveals that the main reason for his arrival at the school was to look for his missing little sister. Just when Nana is leaving, Kyoya scares her to death after showing her Nakajima's watch, and leads Nana to taking him as a huge threat when he takes her to the same cliff, explaining some more details. Nana decides to finish Kyoya as soon as possible, since she has no idea about his talent, and sets up a trap, judging from him not being able to smell by releasing gas in the janitor shed he visits daily. The plan works, and she blows up Kyoya successfully, but is scared to death when she finds out that Kyoya's talent is immortality, as he heals himself completely from the blast while suspecting Nana even more than before. On the next day at school, Kyoya explains the event that happened to him last night, correlating it to the absence of Shibusawa and Nakajima. Kyoya's persistence on the subject makes Nana worry that she won't be able to keep the secret of the murders for long. While Kyoya is explaining all this, two girls from the class named Kaori and Kirara announce that a girl named Michiru has received a love letter today, and while Nana is still analyzing things, Michiru reveals her superpower by healing the wound on Michiru's leg that she got earlier. After class, Michiru is at the backside of the building to meet the sender of the love letter, when Nana breaks the news of all this being a prank to her. Michiru and Nana get along well when the two have food together afterwards. Nana is in her room planning some more stuff up when she notices Kyoya being outside her room out of suspicion. Nana devises a plan and escapes the room after blasting music inside. Kyoya picks up on her fake and is chasing her while thinking of possibilities when he enters the room to find out Nana is stabbed and bleeding on the floor. It is revealed that Nana had actually stabbed herself in the back to get out of suspicion since she was sure that Michiru would heal her anyway. Later in school, the situation didn't go quite as Nana wanted it to, when Kyoya still kept questioning her about the matter. Nana decides to get the whole class involved with her and played the sympathy card to not only get out of suspicion, but also to become the new leader of the class. Nana asked Michiru about the talents of all the students in class and proceeded to prepare a poison attack on Kyoya since he is immortal to physical damage. Nana is heading back when she is confronted by a guy from the class named Tsunekichi Hatadaira, who sends chills down Nana's spine when he reveals that he has the ability to see the future. Tsunekichi uses the photos he had, especially the one where Nana killed Nakajima, to blackmail her. He takes her to his room and makes her massage him while remarking that she wouldn't be able to kill him before 10 p.m. Nana learns how Tsunekichi gets his future pictures and devises a strategy since he uses a simple camera to do it. Tsunekichi wakes up and later finds out a photo that Nana was hiding with her, where Nana is supposedly dead, making him feel secure for the time being. Tsunekichi leaves the room and Nana tampers with his watch. Later at night, in the PE shed, Nana attacks Tsunekichi, assuming that the time trick would have worked on him, and just when she tries to strangle him, Tsunekichi turns out to be smart enough to catch on to Nana's time trick and delivers a strong blow to her gut. Just before he could do anything with her, Nana poisons her with the needle she prepared earlier, remarking that she had a backup plan ready, as the photo of her death from earlier wasn't the future by Tsunekichi, but a simple photo taken by herself. Kyoya and Michiru arrive at the shed and witness Tsunekichi's dead body there. Nana catches up on the fact that Kyoya had seen the photo of her where she was being strangled, and she uses it to her advantage, claiming that she was assaulted by Tsunekichi. Nana gets even more wary of Kyoya later when he catches up on little details in the picture and realizes that a photo is missing. She goes back to the PE shed only to realize that the photo of her killing Tsunekichi was seen by Michiru. Michiru tries to process the photo while Nana resolves herself to deal with her right there on the spot. Nana delays her execution after Michiru just returns the photo to her, smiling. Nana fabricates a story about how Tsunekichi's power were not correct all the time, and how he just took his dreams as reality. Sometime later, a funeral is being held for Tsunekichi, and while other students are feeling bad for the guy, Kyoya starts to get even more suspicious, demanding his teacher involve the police in this matter. He requests an autopsy on the body, and before he could proceed further, Nana takes him out to reason with him. Nana somehow sort of convinces Kyoya, but just when he heads back to check the body, Shinji steps up using his necromancy to control the dead body, leaving Nana in even more shock. Nana approaches Yuka the next day and inquires about Shinji. Yuka explains how Shinji used this talent previously to save lives, but she had to save him in the end. Nana devises another plan after coming to know about this, and proceeds to kill Shinji with her poison after she fakes being in the infirmary. Nana's suspicion about Yuka rises after she refuses to use her super strength to help in rescuing a cat, and later that night, Nana decides to deal with Yuka as well. Just when she is about to poison Yuka, she gets pinned down by Shinji, who is actually alive, and comes to realize that Shinji had died some time ago, and Yuka is the one keeping him with her through her necromancy. Being trapped and witnessing Yuka's split personality, Nana remarks how even she lets the dead rest in peace, despite being a murderer as well. I'm not sure if our little homicidal Nana should be proud of something like this. Moving on, Nana tries to manipulate Yuka by first threatening her and later making peace with her and Shinji. She succeeds in making Shinji lose his grip after she promises to tell Yuka what Shinji really thinks about her. Nana sneaks out of the shed and is followed by the other two. Things seem to be not that hard for Nana until she comes to know that there are multiple dead bodies across the island that Yuka is able to control, implying that someone before Nana also came to this island with the exact same mission. Nana runs to hide in a cabin where she is attacked by more zombies, but just when she is about to be seriously hurt, the sun rises up, revealing Yuka's biggest weakness of not being able to use her powers during the daytime. Yuka locks Nana up and leaves after revealing her biggest weakness to Nana, just like every other of her victims. Nana is surely having an easy time with these idiotic teenagers, huh? Yuka returns to the cabin to finish the job, but comes to know that Nana has escaped. She is leaving the scene when Nana suddenly appears and takes Yuka's link with Shinji away from her, forcing her to spill the beans later. Yuka reveals that she was the real reason behind Shinji's death, since she was jealous of the thought that he might be dating another girl, and upon hearing this confession, Nana adds Yuka's name to her murder list as well. After dumping Yuka's body off the cliff, Nana proceeds to look for a way to get rid of Shinji's rotting body as well. She comes across Kirara, who is looking for snakes to use for her poison talent, and somehow manages to poison her as well, even getting her phone's pin out of her before letting her die. Nana makes Kaori her next target, but waits for the perfect time to execute her plan. She sneaks into Kaori's room to poison her contact lens, and attends school like normal to inform Kyoya about the death of Yuka, leading him and other students to check up on the situation. She fabricates a story of Yuka's suicide and manages to convince Mogo into burning the bodies down. Kyoya gets suspicious of Nana since she was nowhere to be seen when the previous murders happened as well. And just when he pushes her a little, Nana executes the contact plan and kills Kaori while she was with the others. Kyoya investigates the matter further and determines that the contacts were poisoned by drinking the fluid himself. Michiru reveals the texts from Kaori's phone, and with this inclusion, Kyoya solidifies his suspicion of Nana, blaming her while explaining every minute detail accurately. Nana is already in a bad spot, but things get even worse when Kyoya mentions Kirara's phone that should be with Nana and proceeds to check Nana's pockets while Michiru still tells him to leave Nana alone. No wonder psychotic Nana let her live. Kyoya's lead failed when Kirara's phone ended up not being inside Nana's pocket, and while Kyoya wasn't able to believe it, Nana remembers how she took a dangerous risk by using a rotting zombie body to send the message instead of herself. With Kyoya's accusation having no proof, the obvious happened and the other students took Nana's side, making Kyoya reluctantly agree to cooperate with her as well. Later at night, Nana is wondering about the recent event when Michiru arrives to have a conversation and surprises Nana after putting a box cutter on her neck. Michiru questions Nana, who couldn't believe that she messed up like this, and Nana manages to get away from the cutter before Michiru leaves, claiming that they will get back to being friends now. The next day at school, Michiru offers a gift to Nana, and she manages to retain the class's trust by faking her mind-reading powers with her deduction skills again. The signature cliff of the show is visited yet again by Nana alongside Michiru, and Nana reveals that she is aware of this Michiru not being the real one, since she calls her Nana. The fake turns out to be Jin Tachibana, a former student on this island, and he takes her to a cave nearby while claiming that he just put the real Michiru to sleep with a little drug, so there's no need to worry about that. Jin reveals a little history about the island to Nana, about how 5 years ago there was a civil war on the island, leading to the death of many of Jin's friends. Jin reveals his talent for transforming to Nana and asks her about her backstory of coming to the island, when it turns out that Nana had already poisoned Jin's coffee. Nana tends to report Jin's death back to the committee when it is revealed that Nana isn't all that smart when it comes to competent enemies, and Jin stands up, revealing his true talent to not only be able to transform, but copy talents as well, leaving the sweet little Nana in quite the trouble. Even when she is restrained, Nana tries to find loopholes in Jin's statement, continuing to find a weakness somehow. Jin tries to reason with her, but she runs out of the cave intending to get help from other students at the dorms. Jin transforms into Mogo and uses fireball talent to blow Nana up with a huge explosion. Nana gets extremely injured, but still manages to hold her own, trying to determine something about Jin's power and how it works. Jin offers to let Nana go after she tells him about her family a little. Nana reveals how she had a brother along with her parents, and that her parents were killed by someone with such talent, fueling her hate to kill those with talent on the island. Jin gives Nana some tips, and she passes out to wake up in Michiru's room where she had healed her wounds, the only reason that Nana let her live. Nana explains a little about her parents' death to Michiru, making her emotional, followed by a memory of Nana back in the day with the head of her beheaded father. The funeral of the deceased students is held later, and Nana realizes that Michiru's power isn't all that good since it takes a huge toll on her body. Some more memories from back in the day occur to Nana, and later she is visited by Jin, who has a little chat with her, transforming into a cat before Michiru arrives in Nana's room. Nana explains more about her past, about how she was just a normal video game and toys-loving girl, until a mistake caused by her sneaking out of the house at night became the reason for her parents' death, blaming everything on herself. Kiyoya visits Nana's room the next day to take her to another corpse, alarming the sweet little murderer that she is not the only one who has homicidal tendencies on this island full of unusual children, with or without talents.